All right, shalom, shalom.
Hey,
First and
Shalom, Shalom.
foremost, yes, sir. First and foremost, giving all praises, honor, and glory to
Yeah,
Yahawah,
Hallelujah,
BAHASHAM,
Shem,
YAHAWASHI,
Yahawah,
BAHASHAM,
Shem, Rakakwada.
and double honors to the apostles and elders of the Great Millstone who taught us the truth. All right, we're the brothers from the Great Millstone Chicago branch. I'm the brother Badia.
Brother, I will love you.
All right, yes, sir. And we got a quick lesson, man. Lord willing, this will be edifying through the spirit of Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI,
That's
BAHASHAM,
right.
Rakakwada. So, as you see, the title says prioritize the work, everything else will go smoother.
Yep.
Okay. So basically, I was trying to formulate the idea that I was going for to put into better words, and Chad really has said some stuff that was on point. So I just want to begin open it up with this idea. So the principle, basically, what we're talking about, it says when you prioritize the work of the Lord first, everything else in your day moves smoother.
Yep.
Not because you had more time, but because Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI ordered the outcome. Right. So
Mm,
it may
man.
feel kind. If you want to jump in, at any time, just go.
Yeah, I just want to say this also. Once you do the work before anything else, like you said, hey, your day goes smoother, but the Lord will also bless you with spiritual nuggets. You know what I mean? It's like yesterday, for an example, right? After we got done with the lesson, hey, the workout was better. Hey, the Lord threw
Exactly.
us spiritual nuggets. Hey, the Lord threw us signs. We seen the name Yahweh on the license plate. And it boosted
Exactly.
our spirit up just off that. Our day was smoother. We felt energized in the spirit, man. Because ultimately, what we prioritize Yahweh Bashem Yahushai in this work, man.
Hey, just because you said that, real quick, 1 Corinthians 14:40, it says, "Let all things be done decently and in order." In order, man. Do the work, like the brother said. We did the lesson before we went in the gym, and then we went in the gym, and the Lord blessed out, gave us strength, favor to for everything to
Yep,
just go smoother. All
yep,
right.
exactly right, man. Yep, and hey, not to mention, like I just said, the Lord, speaks to us through different signs that we see throughout the day. If you can grab this real quick, I believe it's in Psalms how it says, the Lord daily loadeth us up with benefits.
Yeah, that's
What's the point
I think that's Psalms 68.
of
Psalm 68:19. Blessed be the Lord who daily loadeth us with benefits, even the God of our salvation. Selah.
Right. So ultimately, what? How much more so when we ultimately put the work of the Lord first, man? And it never fails, man. Ultimately, after I get done
Nah,
doing a video, when I get done reading, ultimately everything works in our favor, as the brother Ibaya said, man.
it
Going through
never
chat
fails.
GPT. Hey, ultimately, what? All of a sudden, I'm getting free food. The Lord blessing me with spiritual nuggets. I'm getting money out of nowhere, man. That's ultimately what when you ultimately prioritize your how about Shemal Shah first. He's ultimately going to bless you with these said things, whether it's spiritual benefits, man, emotional benefits,
Yep.
carnal benefits, and how much more so when you put the work of the Lord first, man. So, like, I just
Hey,
had to bring that point out real
no,
quick.
that's beautiful, the water, because it really goes into it right here, where ChatGPT said this fire, bro. It says reality is the Lord Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahushai controls clarity, efficiency, favor, and
Mm-hmm.
completion. So all the things you need, the the Lord controls that anyway. That's why
Yep.
it may feel counterintuitive, right? It says right here, carnal logic, the flesh says, handle urgent tasks first, then the spiritual work later, right? That's what
Mm-hmm.
the flesh say. But the spirit says, put the Lord first and he governs the rest anyway. So it says delaying the Lord's work to save time actually creates friction, stress, and inefficiency.
And may I add on to that, ultimately, I've been a victim of this also, right? You will get up in the morning, you will, instead of, doing a lesson first, taking care of the Lord's spiritual business, you'll hit a workout, you will
Mhm.
do other things that's, not beneficial to, towards your how about Shemal Shah. You feel sluggish, you feel off, you don't feel right, and that's the best way to put it, man. Your day just feel off. But ultimately, once you prioritize your BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, man, that's what said at the start of the lesson. You feel energetic in the spirit, man.
Mm-hmm.
You feel giddy. Ultimately what the Lord bless you with spiritual benefits and spiritual nuggets, man.
God, he's sending them angels to work on your mind, to give you energy,
Yep.
strength, bro. Like Yahawashi, he says in the scriptures multiple times, says, "My hand is not shortened." You
Mm-hmm.
know, my hand is not shortened. All right, like prioritize the Lord's work first. He's gonna take care of the rest, man. He's a king of
Exactly
he's a
right.
king of everything, man. He can do anything, for you. The Lord controls clarity, efficiency, favor, putting the favor of you on other people,
Yep.
all that.
Yep.
But this is Matthew 6:33. But seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness. Ye seek ye first, and all these things shall be added unto you.
Hey, Yak, I was gonna say, can you start at where it says, keep thy nine single? And then we can just jump down to that verse 33, Baba Kushah. Because
Matthew
ultimately,
6.
once you keep your eyes single and ultimately focus on the things that matter, man, hey, the Lord will ultimately what? The Lord will lead you straight away, man. The Lord will direct your paths in truth, man. But ultimately,
Con,
you have to focus on what needs to be focused on, which is this knowledge, wisdom, understanding, man. You know?
and then he'll make the rest of it light work for you
Yep.
after that. So this Matthew 6 and the 22nd verse, the light of the body is the eye. If therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light.
And if I can add on to that, keep thy line single. Ultimately focus on one thing. What's the thing that needs to be focused on the most? Ultimately serving Yahweh Shem Shai and putting his work first, man. You know?
Right.
Because what did Yahweh Shai say? I'm about my father's business. You
Yep.
know? And we have to be of that same have that same mindset, man. We can't
Yep.
be going to the right, we can't be going to the left, we can't be focused on, oh man, my job is more important than doing the work of the Lord. Oh, my wife, my kids. No, ultimately, once you prioritize the work of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, the Lord by default will take care of those things for you, man. By default. If you
By
ultimately keep
default.
Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai at the front of your eyes, man, the main focal point. You know? If I
By
may, real
default.
quick, can I interject with this one scripture? Abu Shah?
Con.
This is the book of Proverbs 16:3. It says, commit thy works unto Yahweh, and thy thoughts shall be established. So ultimately, what? If you put the work of Yahweh Shem Shai first, he will ultimately lead you down, the right path, man. The Lord will lead you in the right direction. But ultimately you have to put the work of the Lord first, man. You know?
And this is Proverbs 3:5. Trust in Yahweh with all thine heart and lean not unto thine own
That's
understanding.
right.
So, going back to the flesh logic, let me handle these tasks first and then I'll do the work later, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But that's leaning on, that's not trusting Yahweh Shai with all thine heart. Hey, because faith is his delight, man. Faith is his delight, man. It's Proverbs 3:6. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths.
Yeah, he shall direct thy paths, man. So the Lord will lead you down the right direction of where to go. The Lord is not going to let you fall, man. And that's ultimately when you put Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai first, man. You know? Because ultimately what? Putting Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai first, everything, as the title goes into, everything will go smoother, man. As we always account our days after doing the work of the Lord, man. And we be spiritually motivated, man. It ultimately what? The Lord give us spiritual nuggets, man. That ultimately, goes into, if you put the work of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai first, man. Because that shows the Lord ultimately that you care about him too. Now look at my son. He always putting me first. Every time he get up in the morning, he praying. He always thinking of a lesson topic. Man, I'm gonna do something for my son. That's
Yeah.
hey, you have to ultimately picture it like that, man. Because
Hey, well,
ultimately, what you got to buy Salakia.
that's Yahweh Shai said that's how it is. He said, if you know how to give good gifts, how you think your father won't do the same.
Yep. You can grab that
So
Galatians 6, Baba Kushah, whenever
yeah,
you
I got it right here.
oh, that's the spirit.
Galatians 6:9. And let us not be weary in well doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not.
Man, it says, be not weary in well doing. What is that
Mhm.
well doing, man? Ultimately putting the works of Yahweh Shem Shai, first and foremost, man. and says, and ultimately what? In due time, you're going to get, you're going to be rewarded, man.
Yep.
And I can't even count how many times the Lord has blessed me, just me and my personal walk, man. When I was down and out, ultimately when I needed things, I'm going to just say this account real quick, right? This was about 2 years ago, I was with the brother YAHAWAH. All right, so I didn't have the money to ultimately put a down payment on my house. So the brother was talking on the phone with me. They said, yeah, you don't have this down payment, by the next hour, you're not going to be able to get this house. So I just said, you know what, F it. With the brother, let's go ahead and do a lesson. So I put my phone on D&D.
Yep.
I said, you know what, y'all were done. Let's go ahead and do a lesson. Whatever happens, happens. So when we got done with the lesson, I turned my phone on D&D. The brother instantly called me back and said, you can't believe what just happened. They said they're going to extend your extension to ultimately to pay off the house or to put your first down payment on. And I said, call BAHASHAM, man. And that's what goes when you put the work of YAHAWASHI first and foremost, man. The Lord will ultimately make everything right if you put His work first, man. If you don't, if you don't be weary and well doing, as the brother had written at Galatians 6:9, man. The Lord will ultimately come through every single time when you put His work first. So, like it for that tangent, like I just had to,
that's
that's
Yappa, bro. The water, that's Yappa. Hey, it's like a cheat code, so to speak, man. This proverb or Psalms 55:22. Cast thy burden upon YAHAWASHI, and He shall sustain thee. He shall never suffer the righteous to be moved.
Yep. He's not going to suffer the righteous to be moved, man. Because ultimately, the hopeful righteous elect will always put their foot down, when it comes to doing the work of YAHAWASHI, first and foremost,
Exactly.
man. And ultimately, everything else is in the back burner, man. Knowing that YAHAWASHI will come through every single time, man. And these are different faith boosters, man. When you put the work of the Lord, YAHAWASHI first, man, He's always going to come through for you every single time, man. And it never fails.
I got pretty much, bro, what sparked off this lesson. This had to have been like yesterday or Tuesday or something. And basically I got to the office. I had a huge project that I had to do. I only had like an hour and a half to work on this shit, and I didn't even know. It's something new that I didn't really know how I was gonna do it. So first of all, I had to pray to the Lord that He could just make me do it. But still, I was like, all right, I only have an hour and a half. But I was like, fuck it. I'm like, I'm gonna still do this lesson because Lord, I want YAHAWASHI to bless my work. I'm like, I'm gonna still do this lesson first. Bro, tell me why I did the lesson. I started working. I got all that shit done, and I like pretty much had time to spare. And then they like loved it.
Yep.
Like my boss, like he like loved it. And you see, like the Lord controlled the outcome. Like it just went smoothly. And then I realized, like, damn, that basically sparked off this lesson topic.
Yeah, calm, bro, and that's beautiful, brother. Once you put the work of YAHAWASHI first and foremost, hey, everything else, it's like you up top of the world. That's like the best way to put it, man. Like when you do the work of the Lord first, man, it feel like you could do anything, man.
Bro, yes.
Like the
You
Lord
can.
gives you like the Lord gives you like, that extra strength, like, damn, you know what I mean? But ultimately, man, put the work of YAHAWASHI first, man. But if you ain't had none of that by, you can go back to that Matthew 6.
Yeah, I got it. You want me to keep going on 22 or go to the bottom?
If it's not some more to that, keep thy eye single. I think it might be a little bit more. I could be wrong.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna just get 23. It says, "But if thine eye be evil, thy whole body shall be full of darkness. If therefore the light that is in thee be darkness, how great is that darkness?"
Right. So
No,
if you ultimately looking towards the left, looking towards the right, man, ultimately what? You're not looking on what needs to be handled, man. You're ultimately going to fall off, man. That's the best way to put it. If you put anything else above, this ministry above YAHAWASHI, everything else, it's, how can I say in a way that makes sense? You're not going to prosper the way you want to prosper, man.
you're not gonna prosper because that's out of order.
Yep.
You can't circumvent the order, man. So verse 24, no man can serve two masters, for he will either hate the one and love the other, or he will hold to the one and despise the other.
Right,
You
that
cannot.
goes into that Joshua. Also, I could cut you off, brother. That goes into that Joshua 24. What's that? Verse 15. Choose you this day who you will serve. You know, because ultimately there is no in between, man. You either going to serve your BAHASHAM, put this ministry first, or you're going to ultimately serve everything else, man. And if you serve everything else, you're not going to succeed. You're not going to prosper, man.
It says ye cannot serve God and mammon.
Yep. What's that? Money. That's what a lot of individuals chase in this world, man. But you can go down to that verse 33 whenever you get the chance, after you're done with the definition.
Yeah, I mean, mammon. The treasure, the riches,
Yep.
basically the world, the shit of the
Yep.
world. But then verse 33 it says, but seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you.
Right. All these things shall be added onto you. So if you do the things that's ultimately that's going to get you to the kingdom, that's going to get you salvation, man. Ultimately seek ye first the kingdom, man. Do the work. Ultimately put YAHAWASHI first. And ultimately all your heart's desires and righteousness, the Lord is going to do that for you, man. And that ultimately goes back if you put YAHAWASHI first, man.
That's it.
I believe we had another one. What's that? Colossians, if I'm not mistaken.
What is it? Where it says work hard unto the Lord?
Yeah. I believe it's 3 and 23.
Yeah, Con. Colossians 3 and 23. And whatsoever ye do, do it heartily, as to the Lord YAHAWASHI, and not unto men.
Right. So ultimately, we have to do these things sincerely unto YAHAWASHI, and ultimately not to catch the eyes of men, man. I'm doing this because ultimately I'm trying to please this guy, that guy. That's what these other camps do. If you can, you can go into that word heartily, in the Blue Letter Bible. I don't think I actually went into that word before.
It's suke. Man, with your breath of life, man, with your vital force, right? That which is in you, man, do it with your heart. Put your force
Yep.
into it, man.
Yeah, put your all into it, man.
Put your all into it.
So you're not half-assing your YAHAWASHI, man. You're not, 1 foot in, 1 foot out, but you're putting your best in serving your YAHAWASHI.
What's that in it?
I was going to say it's one that Peter's how it says, not grudgingly,
Yeah.
but ultimately you have to want to do these things, man. And ultimately, the Lord see you want to do these things, and you want to grow in the knowledge, man, and the Lord got you, man. The Lord will make things smoother for you. But what you was going to say, you was going to bring out another precept?
The one that yeah, in Ecclesiastes when it says do it like
I
go
believe it's
hard because when
Ecclesiastes. That's the spirit. I just actually finished the book of Ecclesiastes again the other day. Let me see, can I find it? I believe it's either 9 or 10. But let me see, can I actually grab it real quick?
basically like go hard because once there's no devices in the grave.
Oh, let me see.
I got it. 9 and 10.
9 to 10, Con.
It says, whatsoever thine hand findeth to do, do it with thy might. For there is no work, nor device, nor knowledge, nor wisdom in the grave whither thou goest.
Right. Ultimately meaning what? Put your best foot forward, man. When you ultimately trying to succeed at something, when you're trying to, put your all into it, man, you go above and beyond. That's what we got to do for your YAHAWASHI. We have to go above and beyond, putting our best foot forward, man. And the Lord knows when you're trying to go above and beyond for him, man, when you're putting all, your best effort into it. The Lord knows that, man, and ultimately when the Lord sees that, man, he's going to bless you with these things, man. He's going to bless you spiritually. He's going to bless you with some carnal things, man, whether it be some money, to get you through certain situations. But the Lord wants to see if you're going to put your best foot forward for him, man. And with doing that, the Lord is going to make things smooth. The Lord is going to make the obstacles smoother for you. Of course, we, in the truth, scripture says in Sirach, the 2nd chapter, when you come to serve the Lord, prepare thyself for temptation. But ultimately, the Lord will help you through these said things.
That's right.
But that's pretty much all I had. If you had anything else, I'm going to follow your lead, brother.
Nah, yeah, that's all I had. All right.
Man, I ate the water, brother. I needed this.
Shalom,
Hey, but why
Yahweh.
do y'all about you now, shy? You know, yeah, kind of at the workplace right now. But hey, but you know, Lord willing, we hope this was edifying. You want us to close this out?
Bahasha.
So with that being said, we hope this lesson was edifying. We want to end up by giving our praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah,
Yahawah. Bahasham.
BAHASHAM,
Yahawashi.
YAHAWASHI,
Bahasham.
BAHASHAM, Rakakwadash.
Rakakadash.
Double honors to the elders and the apostles of great millstone that taught us the truth, and salutations to the hopeful elect that's around the four corners of the globe. Lord willing, we hope this lesson was edifying. Till next time, Kwam Yasharella, Shalom, and Abba.
Shalom. Abad, Babal. Mahar. Shalom.